Alright, so I figured today we could do a semi-review video. This is probably not going to be as structured as most typical review videos out there, but I have a big idea that I just want to kind of do thoughts on knives. So will be like my thoughts on the Lamia, thoughts on this, thoughts on that. I'll probably hit size comparison and some specs, but the main thing is just going to be my thoughts on the action and things like that. So without further ado, we have the Lamia here. And I'll do some more close-ups in a little bit later on in the video. But there's just the first view of it. And this knife is on washers. So the Lamia is a titanium frame lock. And we went with the satin tumble, or stumble as he calls it online. As you can see, there's some beautiful grind lines. And this knife is just so smooth for it to be on washers. And yes, you can have a smooth knife on washers, but the Lamia didn't take long at all to break in to where it would just go ahead and drop, which I think is awesome. I have the purple anno right there. So it's on your clip, screws, and back spacer, while the pivot screw is the bead blast option that he offers. So Alex also makes the fixed blade, the Shark, that was very, very popular before he moved into making this folder. I do not have a Shark, so I was very surprised when I first got this knife because the blade geometry is amazing. I mean, how thin and slicey it is the first thing I noticed. The actual first thing I did with it when I got it in is, this is a really weird like use your knife story, like how I first used it, but I washed one or two of my couch cushions, just, you know, every year or so I do that, and the Velcro got stuck to the bottom part of the couch cushion, if that makes sense, because it's a fabric couch cushion. So it just left like, you know, a few little strings hanging off. So basically, you know, you'd normally just use like a little razor blade to shave off that fluff so it looks to normal. Well, I had this sucker and it shaved off the little excess thread and fluff like butter. So it's just got the thinnest, most slicey blade I've ever seen, especially out of pretty much the custom folder that he's doing. As far as size go, this is the perfect EDC size in my opinion. It's like if you took a small Sabenza and a large Sabenza and made that medium size that everybody wants and needs, okay? So there's my hand. I do have fairly small hands, but even if your hands were bigger, you can see that you'd still not have a pinky hanging off. But it's very comfortable for me, very ergonomic. You have some good details in this. And let's look at the action again, because that's always my favorite part. You have the hole for spidey flicking, and of course you could slow roll or probably even thumb flick. The detent on this guy is strong. Not a bad thing at all, but just, you know, he does make a strong detent and it flies out with authority. So I just really love the way this thing looks. All right, and let's do a few size comparison for you guys. We have the Lamia and the Bug Out from Benchmade. We have the Lamia and the small Sabenza. So let's try and butt these guys up. Let's do the TRM Atom. And actually pretty similar sizes there. For some reason, this feels way easier to pocket than the Atom. I will say that. Got the Quiet Carry Drift. There. And now let's do the Axon from Vero. So yeah, there's a few size comparisons. I will put up a ruler up here for you guys for the ones that are going to ask about the specs. This is actually a ruler from work. It's to measure people for a head helmet. This is what happens when a nurse reviews videos. But there you go. You can, you know, take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do. But yeah. Steel here is 4V. Just look at those grind lines. Wow. I really like his labeling on the blades as well. Subtle, but still looks really good. You see the 4V there. You see SK there. So yeah. There is your close-up. So yeah, I'd say the most impressive thing for me, besides just the beautiful, simple design that I'm really attracted to in knives, is this blade geometry. And as far as the heat treat for the 4V, when I was speaking with him one time, he mentioned he did his standard heat treat with cryo and a low end temper. Tried and true. So yeah, I don't foresee me having any issues with this. I haven't had any issues with the heat treat or thinness of the blade or anything. So there you have that. I don't have any jeans in here. I'm in my office right now, but this is just a pair of gym shorts just to kind of show you how that sits as far as the pocket clip goes. You have a little bit of the knife sticking out, but I like it because you can still see the purple body screw and just a little bit of the handle there. So fairly easy to carry in pocket as well as far as the pocket clip goes. Another thing I really like about this design is just the simple handle, but it just makes so much sense. Oh, everyone say hello to my chili burn. I got splashed with some of the crushed tomatoes I was heating up. Anyways, yes, just so simple but easy to hold. I have no hot spots holding this knife like this, and I'm like gripping down. Super, super comfortable handle. Just a super good looking and stellar knife. I don't really have many negatives about this knife. Yeah. So I'd say if you have a chance to get one, I would say go for it. And even if you don't like it, you'll be able to flip it in a second because this is a hot commodity right now. So I give the Lamia 2 thumbs up, and that's my thoughts on it. And I do also want to mention that I have number 25 that he ever made. So just remember, if you're buying a new Lamia from him, he has already made a few changes. I know one being the back spacer, he made it a little bit shorter, and I believe he added one more screw for stabilization, but I've had no issues with mine. If you've seen my Instagram, I originally had the darkened titanium handles, so it was basically black looking, but there was a tiny bit of lock stick. So basically normally you just change he does have the steel insert there, so you would just change out the insert. So I reached out to him about it. He was super nice, took the knife right back. Said he still wasn't happy with those handles, so he said, can I just make you a new set of handles? You know, I'm changing and learning stuff every day. And I said, absolutely. So we went with the bead blast, so that way I'd still have a little contrast, because I really love when there's, even if it's all titanium, there's a little contrast. So you've got your satin tumbled with your darker bead blast, and I'm still very happy with it. And it's awesome. And I also wanted to shout out that, you know, if you do get a Lamia from him, you have great customer service right there. All it took was a few messages. I had my knife shipped out and had it shipped back very quickly. You know, just be nice and be reasonable about it. I was just like, hey, I have this issue, and he fixed it, no problem. And I know that in the future, he's just gonna run into less and less issues because he works super hard at this. You can tell he's very intelligent, especially if you're following along in his stories. You know, he posts every day, and I think he's gonna go very far in this, but just goes to show, you know, he has great customer service skills, fixed it no problem, and it's just something that's really awesome to know, because you never want to be in the situation where you buy, you know, a more expensive custom knife, and what if the maker's a jerk and is like, okay, well, you shouldn't have done this or that, or, you know, or they try to blame it on you. So did have an issue, but he fixed it no problem, and I think that speaks volumes. So like I said, I kind of wanted to do this category of thoughts on knives. My thoughts on the Lamia. What are my thoughts on the Lamia overall? I love it. I love this knife. Pricing, you know, is going to be depending on the blade steel. This is 4V, and then just the Ano. This was $600 at the time that I purchased it. Of course, prices always vary. You know, he tries to do everything in his shop, so of course prices are going to vary. I know that you can still enter lottos, and I know that he is planning on opening pre-orders soon, and he's got a ton of options planned, which is amazing, because, you know, normally a pre-order is this or that. It really looks like he's trying to personalize and customize everyone's pre-ordered so they get exactly what they like. So prices will vary depending on that, and of course the steel. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the Lamia. I love it. Would buy it again. Would buy it over again. So definitely someone to look out for. Alex is going to go far and do great things.